Hello and welcome back, everybody. Jackson to Ginger, thank you for following B-Town MC. Thank you for the 100 bits and another hype train level 2. Anyway, we return to our Xeyhathian party. The sad faces. It's coming closer to an end. We return to them surrounding this well in this kind of cul-de-sac alley, trying to retrieve their horses. A mysterious figure shows up and throws some daggers at some of the bad guys who happen to stab a horse. The worst. And begins to remove his face covering, revealing a figure familiar to Liliana already, and familiar to some of the audience. As he removes the mask, takes the hood down, the figure of Arel. A wood elven man with piercings along his brow and piercings in his ears. A assassin of sorts. Seems to be somewhat familiar with our other assassin friend, Liliana, here. After taking down the mask and taking the hood down, his ponytail sticks out from behind his head, and he flashes this kind of a slanted grin as he sheaths the remaining daggers that he has hidden away probably all over his body. He begins to walk towards the party, kind of walks up to Liliana, and then looks at each of the party members, and then back to Liliana. It is good to see you.
And you too, Aura. You look well?
I've been better. This country, it has been better. We should talk, but we should move as well.
I'm sorry. Who are you?
My name is Arel. I'm a friend of Liliana's. I trained her a bit. He kind of looks at Liliana, almost kind of like, how much do they know and how much should they know? Kind of thing, this look.
She'll shake her head.
But there is time for this later. Perhaps when we are not surrounded by Parthens. He begins to walk back towards the horses, kind of reins each of them in, and then points off towards a way even up further north. With whatever stopped the blight, it seems that the Parthens are trying to rally back towards the center. The further north we go, the less we are to run into them.
North it is, then.
Either way.
We need to find our horses.
So you have each of your horses there as he kind of rallies them up and leads them through this very narrow kind of single file, overarching, almost kind of tunnel alley. It's more of just like a footpath alley that leads to this back kind of like loading dock area where this well is. There's a few of those on each of these kind of corners of this square where this well is, but this one leads northward. big enough that at least the horses can fit through as well. But they are led through single file, making your way into this cross alley, the bigger street that it leads out onto. You see some of the villagers remaining, unloading things from their houses, and some of the Parthens kind of retreating back, realizing that the blight hasn't made its way this way. What could have happened there? Well, it's the strangest thing. And calmly you're able to retreat further north into the town. Certain sense of urgency, but headed up further north, just outside of the town, starting to make your way into some of the trees up north there to find kind of a shaded grove apart from the town itself and the chaos of that. There's still smoke billowing from a fire that seems to have caught within the town, and some semblance of destruction as you look out beyond from which you came. And knowing, though it has been squelched to a certain extent, you know what has been done is still catastrophic at this point. The damage has been done, and there's no telling when they will be able to continue with their intentions. But sallied around a tree within this grove, you have a moment.
So Liliana, what brings you here?
I was assigned to lead this group to the north by the head honcho herself.
Like the queen?
The queen.
He kind of looks around at each of you and then back to Liliana again, and got yourself in that far, huh?
Surprisingly, yes. I didn't think I was going to make it that far, but I did. And a lot more.
Well, if there's anyone that could have done it, it is you. I have never seen someone thirst for greatness quite like you. You listened to every word I said. Not always listening right away, but you'll get that.
One day, you'll see a beam for the first time from Liliana to Ariel. I gained a whole lot of... seen a whole lot. She really trusted me. Still trusts me, I hope.
I'll do what you can to maintain that.
That I shall.
It is hard with people in our position. We look at the countries Xeyhath has went, and we see the inner workings of the politics. We don't take sides. We must look out for what is the benefit of Aelos. Most people look at it and they see the war up front, or the pending war. Xeyhath has went. There are few who can see the inner workings, and that there are far more. Countless wars being fought within each country itself. Eswend has its struggles right now, but Xeyhath is in need more than any at this time. I have traveled much of Xeyhath in this past month. It is not looking good.
We're around the group, right?
So we're kind of just like tying up the horses and just kind of like collecting yourself. I will say you get a pretty good sense that like you're safe. There's no like marching troops or anything like that headed your way.
Lily is going to usher RL away from the party just slightly. And in a hushed tone, she's going to say, this war, this world is so gone, RL. It almost feels like a lost cause, and I've seen both sides. So at least something in it. I don't know.
I don't either. I won't bullshit you. I won't lie to you. You're smarter than that. In a lot of ways, it is a lost cause. The Grandmaster Wizard, he has gone too far. He has gotten too powerful. It made its way to Bromlike for Chirton, yes. But it has already made it to everything west of here. Countless thousands. His army is immeasurable at this point. He was able to take anyone who he could convert. And that army marches at his will. So when I say, yes, all is lost, it is. The only thing we can do is salvage whatever is left. And fight for that.
Liliana's going to be at a loss for words.
The world will never be the same. Xeyhath certainly the most of that. And what that means for Eswend, there is no telling from now. But there are small resistance forces, those who fought back against the Parthens, fought back against the rule, fought back against the Grandmaster Wizard. Many have fallen, many have failed. But I know of many in my inner workings that I have seen that give hope. And there will always be those that resist. I believe. There are some now that will act against those who have attempted to take Bromlike for Chirton. My duty will be with them. Do what I can. I've always done what I can. From what I have heard, you were close with the Queen, or at least in ties.
Yes.
Can I assume?
That you can.
Well, I must say, good work.
I learned from the best.
Hey, I am proud of that. What it means in the grand scheme of things, I am unsure.
In the words of the Queen, it had to be done.
And there is still much yet to be done. If anything, it has only emboldened Grandmaster Morkir to act even more. He has gone so unnoticed all this time, accumulating such power. It's almost as if the king's death was unleashing a beast that was somewhat tamed and caged.
Can't go back now. We're too far gone.
We can only go forward with what remains.
You'll see her eyes like go back and forth, thinking, crossing, replaying, going back. She's thinking so hard and fast that she's overwhelmed.
He comes over and kind of puts a hand on your shoulder and kind of shakes you a little bit.
I will not ask, for I know better. But do what must be done. You have the power. I would argue to say that in time you could even be more powerful than I. The fire that burns in your eyes is, though one of vengeance and
Motivation.
it is a driving fire nonetheless.
I will finish my duty. Get them, and she's gonna gesture to the party setting up camp. I will get them where I need to go. Get them where they need to go. And we will go from there. I need to see what he can do. I've seen it.
If you are traveling where I have come from, you have only seen the beginning.
Let's hope they're ready.
Be safe. May the
Are you
shadows
leaving?
protect you.
She's going to gesture to the cloak that she wears. This has treated me well over here. Thank you.
A gift I was eager and glad to give.
You leaving?
I will see what is left for me to mend here. And there is a balding man with white hair and a goatee who could probably have a conversation with one of my daggers.
Oh, stick to the shadows, Laura. And she's hesitantly, and then she's gonna give him a hug.
He kind of pats you on the back.
Step
He will
away and walk towards
Turn
the camp.
and walk back towards Brumlickford Shireton, passing through each of you. If anybody would like to, or if you had anything don't want to steal anybody's moments if they want to speak with him or anything like that.
So, I have a few things. Before they walked off, I want to look at Lewin. What is his face during this? Okay, I can't look at Lewin. Can I read his energy?
Can I read his
Vibe
energy?
check.
Vibe check.
A vibe check. Yeah. Can I feel his vibrations right now? So I would just say, without any kind of like roll or anything, it doesn't seem like Lewin has any idea who this is. So it's just a connection that Liliana has, and not that Lewin has.
Okay. And then when they go off, Talon is suspicious as fuck. Could I what I want to do is I want to try and hear the conversation, eavesdrop, if you will,
Sure.
on what they're saying.
I'll say with your sense, you would be able to do so. Yeah, with your hearing.
Cool. What do I need to roll? Or
perception. It's just perception.
first roll of the night. Come on, die. This is the sin die. Don't fuck me. Oh fuck. Oh fuck. Okay. 14. That's not bad.
What are you trying to glean?
I'm not trying to glean anything specific. I'm just not super trusting of this guy who just randomly came to save us.
Mm-hmm.
And so I am curious about the connection between Liliana and him.
You can get a sense that he was being you can get the sense that there was some somber conversation had. So you get that same kind of sense that they were talking about the disparity of the situation in the countryside. Not those details specifically, but you could pick up that there was a tone, there was a mood. They did seem to know each other pretty well. The relationship was kind of hard to glean from that perception roll. But obviously they have some kind of long-standing connection that they've had. Other than that, hard to pick out anything else. No specific details, really.
Okay. I'm still sus, but okay.
Well, your suspicious man is walking away now, so.
Fair enough. During Liliana and his conversation, while they're off, and after I kind of deduce, okay, this guy isn't a threat to us, I'll kind of walk over after I tie my horse, walk over to Farron. What do you think of this guy?
I'm not entirely sure. It seems that he's close with Liliana, and she doesn't seem to be close with anyone. But given her reservation of judgment, I think that if she trusts him, we ought to. When I saw another wood elf, I thought that perhaps it might be a connection here, but can't quite place where he's from. Doesn't quite sound like I do.
You're not too worried about him, are you?
Not at present, no. I think that if he were to turn on us, then probably wouldn't have helped us with the Parthens. And horses are usually a fairly good judge of character, and they were willing to follow him.
You're not wrong. All right. I'll just kind of keep to myself at that point.
As Liliana returns back to the group, Lewin kind of saunters over, kind of nonchalantly.
So, that an old friend or something?
Mentor. Leader. Taught me everything I know.
And here I thought I fucking taught you everything you know. I'm gonna be honest, I'm hurt. I'm a little bit hurt. I thought I was your oldest friend. He's just kind of like joking with you. He kind of like throws you a punch on the shoulder a little bit. But
You are my oldest friend. I don't have many of those. And she's gonna hold up her hand and then just put up two.
Well, if I could be a sentimental fuck right now, I gotta say, I'm glad to be in the end of the world with you.
I don't want anybody else by my side, to be honest. And seems like fate had really played a card when the Queen asked us to put a group together. I honestly didn't think she wanted me to leave her side. But I'm glad. For my own reasons, of course.
Always your own reasons, of course.
Till the end, Lewin.
May it never come.
Oh. It comes for everybody eventually, as she looks to the sky.
Well, let's
Gotta be
ensure that
ready.
it comes to that fucking cunt in the tower first.
You're telling me. So, what's the plan?
Well,
I'll walk past at this point and pat Lewin on the shoulder and say, "Top of the tower," and
top
just
of the
like
fucking
go that
tower.
way.
He reaches out and kind of just like loosely slaps you back.
Top of the fucking tower. Rest up while we can. I know we gotta gather our senses about this, but we gotta head out west now. Into the fucking blight.
Do we have any insight on what's out there? I heard tell that it's far worse than the undead that we might have encountered before.
We should be at our best. Let me just put it that way. If my friend, Orel, seemed uneasy, we shouldn't be cocky. Should be on our toes. Ready.
It's well with me. Oh, Foxjay. I didn't really get the chance to mention it while we were running out of town, but thank you for what you did.
I'm still out of breath from jumping off a roof.
I don't think that your old bones were quite ready for that.
No, no. It was so far to the horses. But thank you.
We couldn't save them all, but that saved a lot. And I'm glad that someone was brave enough to do it.
Yeah, I'm sorry to, divert. But, Keemhawk really, saved my butt out there.
Hey, I suppose it helps that the one that's food motivated follows after the snack bag, right?
We all got our motivations. The simple ones are just as powerful.
That's how you
Make
get
sure
your
my
most
fridge is
loyal
safe.
hounds.
That's true. I wonder how many of those rocks, crystals, are around. If that's happened in all the towns closer to Mardell.
Avelina, you said that you saw one in that memory, right?
Yes, I saw the blight from my past. And I don't know how many there are, but if it's taking over towns and cities, there has to be hundreds, maybe thousands of this. It's an undead army. The blight takes control, and we saw the soldiers killing everyone. Women, children, doesn't matter to them. Every single one of them corrupted by the blight. If they die within it, they come back as a part of this undead army, and that's what happened to me. I believe I was somehow able to break away from it, though, so I'm hoping we're able to save them. But we have to be careful, because I don't know if you need to die inside the blight, or if the blight touches you and you die, you come back. We need to stop this.
From the Parthen behavior, it seemed as though they would only kill those that were inside that area. So I suppose we can hope that it's contained in that way.
I mean, I was right up against the crystal and I'm still alive. So
there's hope
That's
for
nice.
that at least.
Yeah.
There's hope. That's all that we can hope for.
Avelina, do you mind if I bend your ear for a second?
Please.
Just kind of walk a little bit away, other side of the tree or something. Just kind of nod to Farron, not like I'm trying to keep secrets or anything like that, just, privacy. I'm sorry, I'm a little nervous asking this question. You talked to some ghosts in the jail, and then another ghost apparently in the tavern. Is that something you do often or random?
It is something I do as often as I need. I can reach out to spirits. It is their choice if they speak to me. I always hear voices in passing, but to have a conversation with one of them, it is their choice if they are still here.
Do you have to be in a certain place, or is it just anyone that has passed? I'm just confused and a little curious.
There's no certain place I need to be. And it can be anyone who has passed, but has not moved on. If they've moved on, their soul has found peace. But if they're still here, I hope to help them find peace. Whether that be talking to someone who is still alive here, whatever unfinished business they may have, so that they're able to move on.
If they're at peace. Okay. I am so sorry to ask this of you, but could you check something for me?
I'd be happy to, Foxjay.
My wife? Is she around?
I'll sit down on the ground, shuffle through my tarot cards, and focus on your energy and the energy you have and the love you have for her to see what I can feel.
I'm gonna reach out and just kind of hand on your hand. Just deep gaze. Guidance. And sit there.
After some time, through which the spiritual form of flipping through a phone book, if there is such a thing, passing spirits, some curious, as if just little fey creatures just curious about this person wandering through the spiritual realm, some stopping just to glance at a moment, others fluttering right on by, not recognizing either of the individuals brought into this state. And then suddenly, both of you feel a presence, a warmth of comfort. And where your hand lies resting on Evelina's Foxjay, though you cannot see it, you can form somewhat of a depiction within your mind's eye. And you feel a hand placed over top of yours. And that warmth comforts you. And as if that weren't enough, and then in a moment you hear reach out from this ethereal state. The voice of ocean. I am only here to tell you that you do not need me. I do not need to guide you. You don't need to lean on me for what is right. You have always been well capable on your own. You've always had it within you, even before I parted from all this and was left only within you. That's all I can say. I know you want to talk. As do I, but it is not what you need. You have all that you need. And you feel the hand lifted from yours.
For an indescribable amount of time, he will just sit there, unmoving. he will take the 2 wedding rings off of his horn, just kind of clasp them in both of his hands. Evelina, you wonderful soul. Is she gone now?
You feel, Evelina, what he can't, that this presence, this figure, though you can't see it yourself either, it has lingered, it has stuck behind just a bit longer. Hard for it to leave as well. How well that would serve him to know that, though, is up for you to decide.
She is with you always. She loves you very much. She awaits the day you will be reunited, but doesn't want you to hurry. You know she loved adventure. She wants you to continue this adventure of life. She's sad that she's not here to enjoy it with you. But she wants you to live it to the fullest. And when that day comes, her soul will wait for yours. But yes, she is at peace.
Fox J will nod his head, look at the ground, look at the sky, cry, and from his pupilless, deep purple eyes, a glow starts up from his hand, through his arm, through the lightning scars to his face, as the eyes glow, just a very light lavender. A large tear forms, rolls down his face, and Evelina, you can see a little bit of electricity in that tear sparkling around, and as it hits the ground between you two, with it is cast aura of vitality, and you feel a little statically charged, but there is a deep scent of salt water, a little sea breeze with it. It took a while, Evelina. But I brought her to the ocean. Thank you.
Of course.
Evelina, look at us. You didn't lose yourself. Neither did I.
We have people looking out for us.
Flower crown. I'm just going to be here for a little while, if that's okay.
Of course. Take all the time you need.
Thank you.
I'll get up and walk back to the party.
I'll get out my pipe of remembrance and start enjoying that. That's it.
The party may take any kind of rest that they need before heading out westward into the Blightlands.
If I may, just so we can have something other than rations, I'd like to kind of forage around, see if I can snag a couple of rabbits or something to actually make us a decent meal on the road.
Sure, that's easy enough. Anything anybody would like to do?
Guillemot's probably gonna go up to Fox J after just hanging out with the forces, just very confused on everything. Just crosses his arms, looks at him, just... You okay, Fridge?
Yeah. Do you mind if I tell you a story?
I like stories.
Okay. I'll rummage through my pockets and bring out whatever snacks are left and just start waxing poetic for as long as you stay there of 60 years of marriage.
As long as the snacks are there.
Hopefully Farron comes by with like an appetizer or something.
What?
She was a terrible swimmer. She was a terrible swimmer.
Yeah.
She really tried.
Okay. After resting for some time, you get that sense from Lewin, as you have seen so far in your travels. When it's time to go, it's time to fucking go, alright? He begins to saddle up the horses and pack up anything that you guys had for your kind of makeshift camp. Some of those aminals that had been cooked for food are now ready for eating on the roads. Bit more than travel. But now the party... Go ahead.
No, Guillemot also started looking at Fur and like, 2 fridges.
A useful party.
I'm not sure what a fridge is, but feel free.
The party makes their way west. You realize that while there was still some untouched land that had not quite been succumbed to the blight that seems to taint all the vegetation, the trees, the crops, the grass, and the very dirt itself. This gradient of decay as you make your way west. You see that it has been crawling out towards the east all this time. And while they were attempting to accelerate it by placing one of those stones in that town as a new beacon, a new source for the blight to grow, you squelch that in that town, maybe slowing it down a bit. You now realize the encroaching, crawling effects of this blight as you make your way towards the next stop on the road to Marndell, the city, the seeming source of all of this decay and destruction. Some tower that seems to overlook all of its handiwork. seen to some in a past life and others in visions. Thoughts of what this might be encroach each of your minds as it comes closer. But still a few days away, Marndell is. Ahead of you, some of you to know, the next town by horse is Arisham. I will type that just for everybody. Arisham, that's the town. It's lifeless as you make your way to this town. Nothing on the roads, not even an enemy, a soldier. Just see the decay that is now the only thing present in a semblance of life, but other. For all that it has touched still stands, but in a different state. The black of any wood or bark oozes with a green and purple sheen to it, as if looking into oil. It's as if, in some kind of irony, the decay itself is living, but it consumes that which is truly living. Making your way for a few days' travel away from Brumlakefoord Chireton, Arisham is in sight. Just another small town. From what you can tell, it would have been a town like any other. Simple. Just people going about their village business. But again, with this overcast of fog and the bleak ground and all that the blight has touched, now overcoming all of this. From a distance, it looks almost as if a completely burned and pillaged village. Coming in closer, you see that same black, purple, and green on all the woodwork of the buildings. The stone itself, the power of this blight even corrupting and changing, darkening what might have been a bright stone and beautiful stonework. It's like a ghost town now.
Not to say that I've seen anything like this before. Is this a sort of magic that you think could be cleansed? If we kill him, would that be enough, or do you think it's too deep in the land now?
All things go through a cycle. You of all people should have learned. I don't know if this can be healed by, and I'll point at Foxshade, divine magic.
Destroying the crystal only stopped the blight. Before, it didn't take it away. I think the best we can hope for is to stop it. And then afterward, we'll see about a solution, but I'm sorry that's not a very good answer.
So that's it then. It's just like, this is the way it is now.
There has to be some way. Even when in the past soldiers have salted the earth, with enough time things can grow there again. This is a deep sort of corruption, but I can't think of what would fix it now, but
Even
it's
the
dropping
deepest
at the
roots
start.
can be uprooted.
Yes. I wonder if we can find the pillar, if there is another pillar here, if we just shatter the ones that we find, if that'll at least slow the spread. Might be worth a shot.
I agree. DM, can I kind of do like a wide berth kind of around the party, just trying to keep an eye out or ear out for survivors that might be holed up scared, under
Roll a
floorboards or
perception check.
anything? Okay. 17. Wait. Guide myself. 19.
Making your way around the destruction that happened before the blight, or during, or after, who knows. There's a story to be told here. You could look into it if you felt that morbidity, but it's probably apparent. Much of what was about to happen in Brumlakeford Shireton, or had already, or was beginning to happen, was probably the fate that this town seemed to have suffered. Each of the buildings with their different levels of destruction, doors kicked in, windows broken, shutters that now slam against the side of the building. It's crazy to think of how quickly things fall to decay without a human touch, or a humanoid touch. Something to tend to it and care for it. The flower pots within windowsills also succumb to the blight. It's as if it's within the fog that lurks over the town and the lands itself. No signs of humanoid life.
Any animals?
Doesn't seem to be. Looking around, trying to peer into the different buildings and find any kind of a semblance of life. You don't find that, but what you do find catches your eye, your attention. Something that you are now very familiar with. Within one of the market squares of this town, which you can imagine was once bustling with life, now stands empty, aside from the destruction of any marketplace stalls that were set up on the day that this calamity struck. That in itself telling the story of how it all went about as you peer upon a crystal monolith standing amongst this market. You can see where a barricade was placed around it, a humanoid barricade, as you presume from what you had seen, and all of those carts were pushed aside to make room. It does not glow like the one that you had seen when it was activated. It has that purple, it has that green within the black kind of abyss of the stone itself. But it seems dull
as if it has done what it needed to do already.
Is there any sort of energy still within it, or does it seem like it's fully expended?
Seems like it is fully expended. Recalling back to where you saw kind of the gradient edge of this, it didn't seem like it was encroaching any further. Seems like it reached out and with its metaphorical skeletal hand touched and claimed everything that it could. Which is why a few miles away, they needed to set up another.
You want me to break it for good measure?
I would like that, if only for symbolic reasons.
As would I.
She goes and immediately just goes to punch it square, right where she can reach, as hard as physically possible.
As if a glass bottle, it just shatters, almost caves in on itself as if it were hollow, and then shatters into many little crystalline pieces. That's the plural for it. Wording. Pieces precious. And it shatters.
Does it seem like the crystal came with the blight naturally, or that the blight was instilled into the crystal?
From what you can gather, what do you mean instilled into the crystal?
Like, kind of the opposite of like a crystal. They found like maybe a cave with a bunch of crystal terrible things. Maybe Foxjay is thinking that maybe Morikir found a housing implement, like a magical item that could house terrifying magic and disperse it. So that would change the thought process of find like an evil crystal cave, thinking about what Talon has communicated, to finding just generally a crystal cave near where we're going.
Go ahead
If
and
that
roll
makes
an
sense.
Arcana check, yeah.
+0 guidance. With guidance, a 4.
That's all total.
2 + 2. How dare you mock me?
Hard to tell. I will say from all the pieces that you guys have been able to put together and kind of like assume so far, it seems like it's not like the crystal itself is innately evil, or like there's a cave of bad crystals somewhere. It seems like he has found a way to modify something and utilize the innocence to almost store or source his whims through, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
From everything else that you've kind of gathered, it seems that what that scribe was doing when he was like activating the crystal, it really just seemed like it was building its connection to the source. It was like almost like setting up a beacon and saying, hey, here next, and it connected. It's like they formed some kind of connection.
So when the crystal shatters, I'd like to go and pick up a piece of it. Is there anything that seems familiar about this crystal, given where I come from?
The only thing that seems familiar about the crystal is the crystalline shape of it, the way it shatters. You know how like crystals have the ways that they're formed? It is very familiar in the kind of helixical design, but the coloration is different. But the design, as far as the way these crystals form, you've only seen in one other place in your time.
I hold it, and a flicker of realization crosses my face, and I just drop it in horror. I think I know where it comes from.
What's that?
What do you mean?
Aaron, are you alright?
No! Gods, no! The crystals that we use for... And I gesture to the tattoos on my face, on my body. It resonates with magic. That's how we found them. These stones are sacred.
So you're saying Morik here possibly kicked out your people for these stones?
I think that's why.
You see Lewin kind of scratch his beard a little bit, and then his forehead.
That's exactly what was fucking happening.
They slaughtered us for these. This is so fucking wrong.
Earlier on in one of our missions, I don't think it was yours. This was a while back. I don't know how long ago your home was taken from you, but I played a part in one of them. And they were awful curious about those mountains. The mountains up beyond the Black Bridge. And counted fucking recompense. But I played my fucking part. I was a good little fucking soldier. We got them their precious fucking cave, whatever they wanted. I didn't go in. But obviously there was something in there that they wanted. And now this all makes sense. All of this. All from the beginning, all that he's been trying to do. Fucking grow his little fucking undead army. Increase his power. All of this. And the king was playing a fucking pawn to it all too.
These spirit stones were never meant to be used for something like this. I think I'm gonna be sick. And I move away.
You see as Lewin
Walking
kind
away.
of chases after a little bit. After some hesitation, he kind of like sighs and then steps over.
Fairy. I can only imagine what you're going through right now. I just want you to know I understand that there is nothing I could ever do to make it right. But I'm going to try my damnedest to make it right for you and your people and every part that I've played in it. That's what all this is for me. I fucked up in life. And if there's any kind of afterlife, I'd be fucked if I wasn't doing something about it now.
killing Morakir is at least a start. I just wish that I could find even just one of the elders. I earned my markings. I earned my markings, and I was so proud to welcome that spirit. And to see it like this, corrupted like this, used for this. If I can survive this mission that we have, I'd take any help I can get in figuring out how to cleanse them again. And I know things can't go back to how they were, but I don't think I'm ever going to get to go home, am I?
None of us may.
You kind of see a side of him that you'd not seen, where he normally has kind of a tough, rough exterior that is unshakable, unbreakable. You see this kind of remorse and faltering within him.
And God be my witness, if I could go back and undo all that I've done, I would. But you know what we say, you can't fucking go back. You can go forward, and we're gonna march right forward to that fucking tower, and we're gonna knock it right fucking down. More Kira in it, and then we're gonna search the fucking rubble, and we're gonna slice him up. You and me. And if you'll take any help after all this is through, if we make it, you got my blade.
I'm going to walk up. I'm going to offer a hand down to Farron, who I am imagining is kneeling. And I'm going to put a hand on the back of Lewin. First, I'm going to say to Farron, and you have my staff. And Lewin, don't blame yourself. You're following orders, just like I was. We're all pawns here.
Lou and oh, sorry.
It's time.
Thank you, both of you. And Lou and I didn't think I'd ever quite get to where I could trust you, but
Still fucking don't.
you're on the right track, though. And I thank you for that.
I'm trying.
While everybody is chasing Farron, I think Liliana's going to look at the rebel, and very much with the face that she gave at the camp that we had just raided. I'm going to pull out the mask. Is the crystal that's inlaid in the mask the same crystal that's on the ground?
It is. What's in the mask seems to still have some of its green and purple sheen to it. What has been expelled from the crystal on the ground, it lost most of its shine and has resolved into kind of a black. Almost resembling obsidian in a way, but a different kind of helixical formation of the crystal.
Right. She's gonna walk towards everybody that followed Farron. And in front of them, she is going to put on the mask. She's going to remove her bandana. gonna put it on. Use it against him. She's gonna say.
One of his own fucking disciples walking right up to his tower. Might throw him for a loop a little bit, eh?
Might throw him for quite a few loops, I imagine.
Well, if nothing else, I suppose I can try to show him the way that that resonance and that spirit is supposed to be used. And I'm going to start kind of unlacing my gambeson, pulling it off. Not exposing everything underneath, but, a smaller undershirt, and showing, now this is the first time you all have seen that the tattoos on Farron's face go all the way down her body and her arms in swirling motions. And you can see within the designs, there are creatures similar to what you might imagine of Pictish woad or Celtic knotwork. And you can see up towards each arm, there are different creatures on the different spots on her body. A wyvern here, a peryton there, something that looks a little bit like an eagle, but has some things that denote that it may be a slightly more monstrous version of that. I earned every single one of these. And I carry that spirit everywhere I go.
They got
I'll make
one
sure
like
that-
a cunt like Norik here. I don't know, like a design. Because we're about to add him to that fucking list if that means what I think that means. I don't know. Sorry if I'm being insensitive, I'm a cunt.
Well, to use your terminology, you're a good cunt, at least. I might see if I can add something there. It's only the good hunts that get added.
Alright. Well, unless he's tucked away in one of these outhouses taking a shit, I don't think he's here.
Nope.
Oh my god.
Shall we?
Hesitates for a moment, kind of taking in the decay and the destruction. That sense of going up against something larger than yourself becomes ever more present as you make your way further. First west, then curving up northwest. Familiar to some who may have traveled this road before, towards the city of Marndell.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
As we leave the boundaries of Arashan, I'm going to spend 2 key points. And I'm going to use Fangs of the Fire Snake, and I'm going to punch one building on either side of us as we leave the building or leave the town, with the intention of burning the entire town down.
Sure. You walk away from Arasham, meeting destruction with destruction, with some hope that yours is a merciful one, if there is such a thing. Leaving behind you the smoke billowing as the village has grown into a flame. Ahead of you lies the road to Marndell, and you make your way through these Blightlands.
getting comfortable on the road, having not run into any other beings, not even an animal in sight, it seems. Ahead of you, you hear a sound. The sound familiar to some who have partaken of it, and others who have been on the receiving end of it. A marching army. You see as Lewin stops his horse and kind of turns, does kind of a motion to ear out ahead, kicks up his horse and darts off to the right behind kind of a rock structure. Do each of you follow suit in that?
What time of day is it?
Suit. It has been
Or night.
I just kind of jumped ahead, if that's okay. We jumped ahead maybe a day or two. Actually, no, a day. And you are now into the kind of afternoon of that second day. So you're on your second day of travel. Marndell is probably just up ahead. Maybe less than a day's travel at this point.
So it's like a fog cloud in this sort of environment stick out like a sore thumb?
There's already a large layer of fog. If you want to save the spell slot, I would go ahead and say that if you hide well enough, you probably wouldn't be seen from the road. There's already, just with this blight itself, kind of an overcast of this fog.
Okay, great.
It's up to you, though.
Yeah, I'll hide. No spell.
Making your way into this kind of rocky area that overlooks the road, you get yourself somewhat of a decent vantage point to see who approaches. At first, horses. 2 mounted riders. What strikes your attention is the horses as they trot along a little bit. Their riders wearing a very familiar Parthen green. Soldiers marked up in their armor, glancing out ahead within the mist as it fades from left and right and gives you glimpses and images of them passing by, these 2 riders. Just in an instant, you're able to make out one of the legs of the horse, somewhat decayed to the bone. And then as the other next to it passes by, you see as it huffs and shakes its head and moves its bridle reins, revealing somewhat of the bone underneath its mouth. The riders themselves, unable to identify their state of decay, they seem to have their wits about them enough to lead what you see next. Marching. A ceaseless train of undead soldiers. Look at first to be just a ragtag group of soldiers, but where you can see exposed bone, wounds that seem to not halt their march in any capacity. This marching trail goes on for 10, 15 minutes of ceaseless numbers. If you were to try to count, you would have given up early on.
Damn.
They march and march.
Go ahead.
Talon, if he has to use the staff, that's fine, because he probably would. He wants to try and see if any of them, at least one of them, is one of his men.
Staff probably wouldn't be helpful in this case. I would say probably just not possible, unfortunately, in this case, without actually being able to see you. It would be impossible to kind of make out any kind of discernible footstep or anything like that, unfortunately. With the numbers there, the odds of one of your men not being there in some capacity is very slim. If not one of your men, somebody you may know. The entirety of the western countryside, almost more than half of Xeyhath at this point, has succumbed to this blight. Marndell is central Xeyhath, and you've traveled days to get there from where you came eastward. If you assume that that has branched out westward, west of Marndell itself, all of those lands may have been taken. No way to know, but Marndell is right around the corner. This army marches away, and their footsteps become faint as they march. Their next goal, who's to know? What you do know is that they are under the control and volition of your target.
As they march by, Liliana is going to, under the mask, just say, "Fuck. Mordecai did this on his own. This army could kill any man. Look at them," and in awe, watching as they walk by.
And this is just one of them. That was a lot of fucking men. Thing is, it wasn't even men. Men, women, children, entire villages. I don't know what the limits of the physical capability is, but anything with a sword can cause harm to anybody else. Who knows how many other more have marched on beyond this. Could have been more groups of them like this. His numbers are immeasurable at this point. Definitely more than two, yeah.
I can't help but wonder when, not if, we kill Morikir. Will the reanimation stop? Will they die again, or will that just be cutting them loose?
There's only one way to find out.
Avelino, you...
Go.
If it's him keeping them all alive, does that mean you?
Does that
If I
mean
have
you
to
what?
die. If I have to die to save their souls, I will. I don't want to, but there's too many of them to make that risk.
Lewin kind
I
of
can't.
gets up from his rock a little bit.
What you two on about?
should be there, technically, marching with them. I believe I was one of Morkir's experiments. What I saw in that staff, I saw the blight take over my city. I saw myself die. And then I saw myself marching with hundreds of others, just blindly marching. People of all kinds. We weren't soldiers. There's people of all kinds just marching. No one was talking. No one was doing anything that a normal person should be doing. Just following these soldiers, essentially corralling us. Somehow I was able to break away. Hold on to a shred of my humanity. I think that's why I don't remember anything. Because there shouldn't have been anything else for me to live on to do.
Well, if there's such a thing as fate, you fucking took it and made it your bitch.
I hope I can
We've
do
all
the
done a
same
bit of that.
for the others.
Alright, seems like they've gone on. We're not far from Mondale now. Marching ahead. Regathering yourselves, once again seeing the disparity of the situation. That feeling that you were up against more than yourself encroaches even further. The sense of dread. If it had a physical weight, you would not be able to move. But despite that, you push on. Seeing decayed signs that point the way to the different villages and towns and cities, particularly Martindale. A larger sign that rests at this intersection. Itself decayed, the writing almost chipped away with some of the wood that has become rot. A sign literally and metaphorically for the coming city of Martindale. As you approach some of the fog, as it shifts to and fro, gives you glimpses from this hill. A hill, a vision that has been seen by other members of the party in visions
once in its previous state, the city of Marndell, with its love of color and liveliness, passion for the art, has all become one macabre black and purple and green and decay, and even that which is stone has been toppled at this point. From the visions of the past where you once saw the city itself bustling with life and color and the stones standing tall. Most of it leveled now. What stands before you, proud and powerful, that which is the source of the leveling of not only this great city, but the entire countryside itself, as it shifts through the fog and silhouettes itself, and what you can only assume is a bright night light sky filled with the starlight that even is suppressed from the fog and the darkness that overhangs this countryside. It silhouettes itself a tower overlooking the city. As if it emanates its own kind of light atop this tower, an orb, massive, floats. It's hard to tell if it is sucking in all light as if a black hole, or if it's emanating its own black light and spreading its connection, the blight, out into these receivers, these obelisks, monoliths, crystalline structures corrupted from the caves of Farron's people. Before you stands the Dark Tower. And you know what's happening now. It's time to take a break.
I just want to say I'm flipping it off.
Fuck you, Tower.
This is fine.
Fucking tower.
This is fine.
He in solidarity is just also doing it with no idea. Just
Yeah, fuck that tower. Fuck that thing. It is obviously bad juju. It's very obvious. What else? Quest Junkies UK, thank you for resubscribing at tier 1. Parasite Steve, Chigley, OG Lava Kitten, Old School Nate, and Jack Daniels on Ice. Thank you all for following. Old School Nate, I think I saw you made a comment earlier that you got hooked in 5 minutes because of the level of. Thank you. We really appreciate that. We live for it. It's this group is amazing. We've got a session and a half left, mates. A session and a half. All right, we'll be right back. We'll just take a little break. We'll take a 12 to 15. Hey there, Argent Court. Welcome. If you haven't followed yet, go ahead. Even the halftime show itself is entertaining if you're of sorts to enjoy. If you've just caught in, welcome. Thank you for that follow. I appreciate it. I literally forced you to. I gave you no alternative. Just kidding, but thank you for that follow and your little message. Stick around. We'll be right back. Yeah. Yes, Old School Nate, sorry. Yeah, we'll be right back. Yeah, we'll be right. Yes, it is all on, it's all on YouTube's and Spotify podcast as well, if you would like to just listen. But yes, there's lots of ways to catch up. This is the mini side campaign. We'll be back with the main party campaign. I don't know if you physically have time to catch up with it, but it's certainly worth it to try. It gets real damn good, and some of this ties into that. So once you are familiar with both of them, the whole Aelos lore, it's somebody's building a story here. I don't know who it is, but it's hey, all right, we'll be right back, guys. Love you. All right, halftime.